Thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Shivani Gupta. You're watching Plain Speak with me, and we're coming to you live from CNN News 18 and Federal Bank Primetime Studio. The Modi government is amending the 1995 Waqf Act to enhance accountability and transparency in Waqf boards. It's a move that has raised the hackles of the opposition and self-proclaimed flag bearers of the Muslim community. As far as the new amendments are concerned, the bill will require Waqf boards to now register their properties with district collectors to confirm their valuations. In the 40-plus changes to the current law, the government aims to usher in gender equality and also proposes the creation of a separate board of Waqf of Bohras and Aga Khanis. But the opposition and some Muslim bodies opposing the reform see it as interference. The All India Muslim Personal Law Board has asserted that it will not tolerate any reduction or restriction in the powers of the Waqf boards, while the opposition says it's in violation of the Constitution. Minority Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju gave a point-by-point rebuttal to all opposition points raised in Parliament today. He called the bill progressive and said that there is no interference in religious bodies. The suggestions that were made have been made after consultation with all stakeholders. Now, Waqf boards are the third largest landowners in India after defence and railways. And there is no denying that some of their powers are not just unprecedented and arbitrary, but also with no parallel for any other religious denomination in India. So this debate has been going on for some time now, and a lot has already been discussed about how Waqf boards cannot be allowed to function the way they do currently. Having said that, we have before us the same old argument that restricting Waqf boards is somehow an attack on the freedom of religion of Muslims in India. Is that a fair argument, or are personal laws and freedoms being used to avoid scrutiny? We'll take that question to our guests in just a bit. First up, let me highlight just some of the key changes that are being made. As per the existing Act, Waqf Tribunal was the arbiter of all claims made on a piece of land. But now, after the amendment, District Collector will be the arbiter to decide whether a property is a Waqf land or not. Earlier, 3 MPs from Muslim community were part of the Waqf panel. As per the amendment, the bill will have at least 2 women on boards now and at least 2 non-Muslim members appointed by the state government at the state levels. As per the earlier Act, Waqf board can claim those properties of followers of Islam which had been used for religious work or donated for religious work. But the new amendment makes it clear that government land cannot be deemed as Waqf property. As per existing Act, Waqf by use, there was this clause that gave the Waqf board the authority to claim that land. But after the new amendment, any Waqf land can face audit. In the existing Act, the Waqf board was only for Shia and Sunni Muslims in India. But now the amendment proposed the creation of a separate board of Waqf for Bohra community as well and the Aga Khanis Muslims as well. Even courts in past have pulled up Waqf boards for claiming rights over all kinds and manners of lands. Madhya Pradesh High Court in July 2024 just recently laid down that Waqf board has no jurisdiction over property declared as ancient monuments, because there are many monuments in the country that if you actually went to Waqf boards would fall under Waqf land according to those boards. In May 2023, Supreme Court bench said that mere publication of a notification was not enough to recognize a property as Waqf. These are just some of the arbitrary powers that Waqf boards have. Supreme Court in 2018 asked the Sunni Waqf board to present concrete documents to prove that the Taj Mahal is a Waqf property. Remember, the Taj Mahal is also again a monument that comes under the ASI. In September 2010, the Supreme Court had highlighted civil courts will have jurisdiction over Waqf disputes despite the Waqf Tribunal. So there have been individual cases where courts have stepped in, but there are many cases, and we've highlighted them here on Plain Speak on CNN News 18, where there are people who just don't have the bandwidth or the wherewithal to challenge what the Waqf boards are saying, or they get mired in litigation for a very long time and have nowhere else to go. This will be, though, a task cut out for the NDA to get this bill passed, especially in Rajya Sabha. Already the numbers are tottering a little bit in Lok Sabha, but they do have clear majority as far as the NDA is concerned in Rajya Sabha. The NDA currently stands at 102 seats and it is expected to add possibly 7 out of the 12 seats that are going for by-elections in September. With this, their number comes to about 109. The NDA has 6 nominated members and 2 independents backing them, so that's about 170, but still too short of the majority mark. However, the NDA will have a task ahead to appeal its issue-based supporters. For example, the BJD, YSRCP and AIADMK are parties that are not that aligned with the NDA anymore. All of them have certain differences, especially since the last election cycle. But in the past and traditionally, they have voted case to case on the government's legislation in favor. The big question we asked today is simply this: as far as this Waqf war is concerned, does the personal law argument stand? Is that going to be the defense against this bill? That's coming up with our guests.
I introduce the bill.
By denying legal recognition to Waqf al-Awlad under Clause 4 and Waqf by user under Section 3R1, government has sought to severely restrict how Muslims can manage their Waqf property.
This is a fundamental attack on constitution. This bill is a fundamental. Now you are going for Muslims. Next, you will go for Christians. Next, you will go for Jains. This is an attack on federal system also.
This bill is ill-motivated, sir. You have got dirty agenda with you.
वक्फ बोर्ड में गैर मुस्लिम को शामिल करने का औचित्य क्या बनता है?
हम आज का जो बिल आपके सामने में पेश कर रहे हैं, ये उसी सचर कमेटी का रिपोर्ट के अनुसार सेम परसेंट हम यहाँ आपके सामने में लाया जा रहा है। और आपको तो खुश होना चाहिए, ये कमेटी आपने बनाया।
Former Minority Affairs Minister and senior BJP leader Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has urged the Waqf system to move beyond a touch me not syndrome. He is joining us live now. I do thank you for your time. Opposition का कहना है कि आप जानबूझ के इसी मसले को उठा रहे हैं, जबकि आपके पास और भी बहुत सी चीज़ें होनी चाहिए, और भी ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ें हैं इस देश में। बीजेपी की सरकार के पास और इश्यूज होने चाहिए जो अभी सरकार बनी है उसको सॉर्ट आउट करने के लिए, लेकिन आप सीधा वक्फ बोर्ड के इशू में घुस गए हैं नई सरकार बनाते ही।
देखिए, ये लॉन्ग पेंडिंग प्रॉब्लम है और इस लॉन्ग पेंडिंग प्रॉब्लम का लॉजिकल एंडिंग सोल्यूशन हो, ये आज जो है वक्त की भी ज़रूरत है और वक्त की भी ज़रूरत है। और आज जो जिस तरह से एक अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एनार्की इस पूरे के पूरे सिस्टम में दिखाई पड़ती थी, तो उस अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एनार्की को कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल हायरार्की के फ्रेमवर्क में ला करके जो है वो मुल्क के लिए भी अच्छा है और मजहब के लिए भी अच्छा है, वक्त के लिए भी अच्छी ज़रूरत है और वक्फ की भी यही ज़रूरत है। अब अगर उस पर भी जो है वो हर जो इंक्लूसिव रिफॉर्म होगा, जो समावेशी सुधार होगा, उस पर कुछ लोग सांप्रदायिक वार करने के हिस्ट्री शीटर हो गए, तो उसका तो कोई इलाज है नहीं।
एक चीज़ तो ये है कि इसकी टाइमिंग पे थोड़ा सवाल उठा रहे हैं लोग कि क्या यही सबसे ज़्यादा प्रेसिंग इशू है। दूसरी चीज़ है कि बीजेपी पे और बीजेपी की सरकार पे आपको पता ही है कि हमेशा ये इल्ज़ाम लगता है कि आप एक ही मज़हब के लोगों को टारगेट करते रहते हैं। पर्सनल फ्रीडम्स या पर्सनल लॉज की बात उठाई जा रही है, उस पर आप क्या कहेंगे, क्योंकि ये इल्ज़ाम बार बार बीजेपी पे लगता है।
देखिए, एक चीज़ आप ये बताइए, जो ऑटोनॉमी की बात करते हैं, स्वायत्तता की बात करते हैं, तो स्वायत्तता के नाम पर आप जो है वो सुपर जो है वो संवैधानिक संस्था बन गए हैं अगर, और उसको लेकर के कंफ्यूजन है, कंट्राडिक्शंस हैं, कन्फ्लिक्ट है डिफरेंट प्लेसेस पे। आज से नहीं ये इशू है, ये बात जो कह रहे हैं, जब कांग्रेस की या यूपीए की सरकार ने ज्वाइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी बनाई थी तो क्या वक्त सही था वो? क्या इससे पहले अटल जी ने जब बनाई तो क्या वक्त सही था क्या? उससे पहले जब कांग्रेस की सरकार रही तब उसके बारे में सुधार के लिए जो है संशोधन आए, तो क्या वो वक्त सही था? वक्त की बात नहीं है। ये जो आज आदत हो गई है कि हर मुद्दे को अटकाना, भटकाना, लटकाना और उसके समाधान की दिशा में आगे नहीं बढ़ना। और कुछ लोगों ने कुछ सिस्टम्स को, जो वक्फ सिस्टम को टच मी नॉट बना दिया है। और टच मी नॉट की जो सोच, सनक और सांप्रदायिक सियासत है, संकीर्ण सियासत है, उसने जो है वो वक्फ के बारे में जो अविश्वास का माहौल पैदा किया, वो आज जो है वो उसका जो है वो उसका कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल करेक्शन जरूरी है। अब हर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल करेक्शन पर कम्युनल कंफ्यूजन कुछ लोग क्रिएट करने की जो कोशिश करते हैं, वो मुझे लगता है ठीक नहीं है।
एक और जो बहुत बड़ा सवाल बनता है सर, स्पेशली बीजेपी या नरेंद्र मोदी लेड सरकार के ऊपर, वो ये है कि हमने देखा है कि कंटेंशियस लेजिस्लेशंस पे पॉलिटिकल कंसेंसस नहीं बन पाया है। कुछ लेजिस्लेशंस तो वापस भी लेने पड़े हैं। तो क्या इस पे आप पॉलिटिकल कंसेंसस बना पाएंगे? जॉइंट पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटी में गया है, मुस्लिम कम्युनिटी में भी कंसेंसस आप बना पाएंगे?
देखिए, मुस्लिम समाज में मैं मानता हूं कि मैंने एक बात कहा, जो हितधारक हैं, जो उनका जो है संरक्षण और जो हैरेसमेंट है उसके समस्या का समाधान विद इन द फ्रेमवर्क ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, जो हितधारक हैं उनका संरक्षण होगा। इसमें कहीं कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं है। पूरे बिल को आप देख लीजिए, जो एक्चुअल हितधारक हैं, जो वास्तविक जो उसके लाभ में हितधारक है, उनको जो है वो किसी तरह का कोई कंफ्यूजन नहीं है। और वो शुरू से ही वो खुद भी बहुत पीड़ित प्रताड़ित है। जिस तरह से वक्फ बोर्ड जो है, अपने कुछ वक्फ बोर्ड स्टेट्स के या कई जगहों के अपने आप को एक मतलब सुपर संवैधानिक संस्था की तरह से करते हैं, और जिसको चाहा, जहां पर चाहा वहां पर जो है वो उंगली दिखाई और कब्जा कर लिया। उसमें सबसे ज्यादा जो सफरर हैं वो कोई और नहीं है, मुस्लिम समाज के ही लोग हैं। तो सभी लोग ये बात चाहते थे कि इसमें सुधार होना चाहिए। अब हर सुधार पर सांप्रदायिक वार करेंगे तो काम नहीं चलेगा। और जो लोग ये सोच रहे हैं कि इसको जो है वो हम टच मी नॉट बना दें और उसको जो है वो हम इस स्वायत्तता को के नाम पर इसको हम सुपर संवैधानिक संस्था बना दें, ये मुझे लगता है कि ये सोच ही गलत है। और ये सोच, इस सोच के पीछे आप देखिए कोई भी सुधार होगा, वक्त की बात करने लगेंगे कि ये वक्त सही नहीं है। जब कोई भी सुधार होगा उस पर सांप्रदायिक वार करने लगेंगे। मुख्य रूप से उनकी मकसद और मंशा देश के इतने बड़े समाज के तालीम, तरक्की पर तालिबानी ताला जड़ने की कोशिश है और उनका सांप्रदायिक शोषण करने की कोशिश है। तो ये जो सांप्रदायिक तुष्टीकरण का छल है, उसको समावेशी सशक्तिकरण और सुधार के बल से ही खत्म किया जा सकता है। और जहाँ तक सवाल है कि आप डिबेट करिए, डिस्कशन करिए, और डिबेट और डिस्कशन में अगर आपको कुछ भी आपके पिटारे में है तर्क और तथ्य, तो उसको कहिए। डिबेट होनी चाहिए, डिस्कशन होना चाहिए, डिसीजन होना चाहिए। आप चाहे पार्लियामेंट में करिए या पार्लियामेंट्री कमेटीज में करिए, लेकिन इसको आप अटकाइए, लटकाइए, भटकाइए नहीं।
जी जी, मुख्तार अब्बास नकवी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए। लेट्स सी इफ अ पॉलिटिकल कंसेंसस कैन इंडीड बी बिल्ट ऑन येट अनदर कंटेंशियस मूव ऑफ द बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट। लेट्स ऑल्सो ओपन दिस अप टू आवर अदर गेस्ट जॉइनिंग अस। Shehzad Poonawalla, national spokesperson of the BJP, Rashid Sharif, president of the South India Muslim Personal Law Board, Tariq Khan, spokesperson of Samajwadi Party, and Kailash Adhikari, political analyst, all joining us. Let me take the objections to the amendments or to the touching of the touch me not, as Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi said, Waqf boards, and then I'll come across to the BJP panelist as well. Rashid Sharif, I want to begin with you. The problem is कि इतनी ज्यादा पावर्स दे दी गई थी वक्फ बोर्ड्स को कि अब उस पावर्स में कोई भी कटौती की जाएगी तो बुरा तो लगेगा, लेकिन नेशनल लेवल पे जिस तरह का कहर वक्फ बोर्ड्स ने मचा रखा था उसको कंट्रोल करने की जरूरत थी। अब आप इसको मजहब की लेंस से देखना चाहते हैं वो आपकी मर्जी है, लेकिन किसी भी बॉडी को इंडिया में इतने हक नहीं दिए गए थे जो वक्फ बोर्ड्स को दिए गए थे, तो कुछ तो सुधार करना ही था।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल शिवानी जी, बिल्कुल सुधार करना था। आप करिए सुधार, हम वेलकम करते हैं सुधार का। ये इसको वक्फ को है तो आप वक्फ प्रॉपर्टी को टारगेट, क्योंकि सबसे पहले बीजेपी गवर्नमेंट, अब देखिए आप कश्मीर का 370 की जिक्र करना चाहूंगा। आज पूरे ब्लैक डे मना रहे हैं, आज कश्मीर को ऐसा कर्फ्यू करके ऐसा आप इस तरीके का 370 लागू कर दिए। आप इसी तरीके से इनके जो शुरू से लेके आज तक जो चल रहा है, सिर्फ एंटी मुस्लिम पार्टी मशहूर है ये कि इन्हों हमारा अच्छा सोच नहीं सकते, इन्हों कभी है सो हमारे बारे में है तो अच्छे ख्यालात इन्हों ला नहीं सकते। आज वक्फ बोर्ड के बारे में पीछे पड़े हुए हैं। मंदिर पे अगर उंगली रख दिए तो ये वक्फ प्रॉपर्टी हो गई। हाँ, बाबरी मस्जिद पे रख दिए अगर उंगली तो ये हो गई, राम मंदिर हो गई। ये क्या बातें हैं मैडम? ये आज आप बता रहे कि शॉप से मैं देख रहा था, सुबह से डिबेट यही चल रहा। आज ये देखा तो शॉप वाला आता है कि नहीं भाई हमारे को वक्फ बोर्ड की नोटिस आ गई कि अब हिरासमेंट चालू। अरे मैडम, सबसे कमजोर बोर्ड है ये कमजोर बोर्ड। अब हमारी एक सोच हमारी ये है कि हमारे वक्फ प्रॉपर्टी जो हमारे बुजुर्गों ने हमारे लिए दिए, और इसमें है जो गरीबा यतीमों का हिस्सा है, बड़ा हिस्सा है। अगर ये वाकई सही तरीके से अगर यूज होती तो वाकई हिंदुस्तान में एक भी मुस्लिम आज जो हालत है वो नहीं होती। ये मैं मानता हूँ ये बात को।
नहीं, अभी भी वक्फ बोर्ड के पास इतनी जमीन है और वक्फ बोर्ड के पास इतना पैसा है कि एक्चुअली मुसलमानों की जो कंडीशन है वो नहीं होनी चाहिए थी, तो उसका कोई एक्सक्यूज ही तो है ही नहीं। बट प्रॉब्लम यही है कि आप कहीं भी बोल देंगे कि बुजुर्गों ने हमको जमीन दी है, यहाँ किसी राजा ने दी थी, किसी उसने दी थी, किसी और रूलर ने दी थी, तो ऐसे तो पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस हिंदुस्तान नहीं चल सकता ना सर।
नहीं मैडम, ऐसी बात नहीं है। अब देखिए, एक तो घोड़े, एक तो जमीन है हमारे पास। क्या है हमारे पास? कोसा हिस्सा है। हाँ, कोसा बीजेपी कोसे सीटा देती है, कोसा है तो हमारे सपोर्ट करती है। बताइए, हमारा सबका साथ सबका विकास, सब बातें हैं ये टीवी पे बड़े अच्छे दिखते, अमल है तो इसका कुछ नहीं है। मुसलमान को बिल्कुल छोड़ दिया गया सो है, चाहे वो जॉब हो चाहे कोई भी चीज हो, मुसलमान को बिल्कुल
गवर्नमेंट के जो स्कीम्स है उसके स्टैटिस्टिक्स ये प्रूव नहीं करते हैं शरीफ जी। चलिए, ये पॉलिटिकल आर्गुमेंट हो सकती है कि मुसलमानों को नहीं मिल रहा है, बट गवर्नमेंट के जो स्कीम्स हैं उसमें पॉपुलेशन के परसेंटेज से बहुत ज्यादा मुसलमानों को मिल रहा है। मैं आपके पास वापस आऊंगी। तारिक खान,
सिर्फ ये जो आप बात कर रहे हैं ना गवर्नमेंट के स्कीमों के बारे में, हमको हक चाहिए मैडम, हमको हक चाहिए।
हाँ, तो हक तो सबका बराबर का होगा ना सर, एक्स्ट्रा हक तो नहीं दिया जाएगा ना मजहब के नाम पे।
वक्फ बोर्ड में अगर औरतें आ गए तो तरक्की हो जाएंगी क्या? सियासत में औरतें आए तो तरक्की नहीं होगी? वक्फ बोर्ड ही है कि औरतों को तरक्की दिलाने का एक ही है बोर्ड।
तरक्की की बात नहीं है, ये रिप्रेजेंटेशन की बात होती है। चलिए, मैं उस इशू पे नहीं आ रही हूँ, मैं तो सिर्फ ये कह रही हूँ कि वक्फ बोर्ड के पास बहुत सारी ऐसी पावर्स थी जो इंडिया में किसी और बॉडी के पास नहीं है, और मजहब के नाम पे तो वो पावर्स नहीं होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि इंडिया इज नॉट ए religion dominated country as far as its ethos is concerned. If you want to live in a secular country, you've got to back off from your religion based powers or religion based laws. I want to go across. नहीं, शरिया की तो बात करिए ही मत आप बिल्कुल भी, इसमें तो शरिया का कोई लेना देना ही नहीं है। Tariq Khan, I want to come to you. There is a sense developing that the opposition also, one, has the same arguments against anything the government may do. One is question timing, the other is question motive, but on substantial issues, which is the issue of how Waqf boards were operating and cases after cases were coming to light, there is no response from the opposition.
Fundamental responsibility and the duties of a parliamentarian to discuss things in the parliament. What has happened today is good. It should be discussed, and things comes out when we discuss something here or somewhere in parliament. No. They said in the new act, they said that the powers of the tribunal will be lowered down. So we have more than 20 tribunals in India. It will affect all tribunals, or it will be only for the tribunal of this Waqf tribunal. We have tribunal for taxes, we have tribunals for banks, we have more than 20-25 tribunals. So my question is this, that
it's obviously only for Waqf tribunals, it's not even a question.
So it will be, the question will arise that tribunal courts act equivalent to the district court, and any order of the tribunal court can be challenged in High Court and Supreme Court. But it's just parallel to that, and tribunals has been formed in order to have a faster trial in the court, because already we have lakhs of court cases pending in our normal courts.
Yes, but
That's
the tribunals are supposed to be neutral. The problem with the Waqf tribunals is that the Waqf makes the claim, the Waqf will get the land, and the Waqf is also deciding and sitting on judgment on whether that land is Waqf or not. That is not the principle of natural justice.
Tribunal is a court. Tribunal means court. There is
Yeah,
a
but it's the
judge, they
Waqf
decide
tribunal. This is precisely
It's all
the problem,
right.
Tariq Khan. The
That
powers
means
that were given to the
if you
Waqf
say-
tribunal were so large, were so arbitrary.
That means that we are saying that whatever Waqf will say in that tribunal will not, according to the law of land. That's what we want to say, that whatever it's
It's not according to the law of the land. It's according to religious text. That's precisely the problem.
Okay,
The Waqf board doesn't work
okay.
according to the law of the land, quote unquote.
Means the
It works according to
person who
Sharia.
you are saying that person who are heading tribunals, they work according to the Sharia, they don't work according to the law and the Constitution of India. This is means what you're saying. Means
No, I'm saying the powers that were given to them were so excessive that they were not
Listen.
checked, they were unchecked.
Let me answer. My simple question is this: that a sentiment has been created that you cannot challenge anything. We cannot challenge anything which is being, once a Waqf claim that this is our property, you cannot challenge that thing. This is a normal sentiment that has been created. Now, how Gyanvapi has been challenged in the court? In that scenario, because that's also a Waqf property, how Babri Masjid case went to court, how that Mathura case, Shahi Idgah case and Krishna Janambhoomi case is in the court, and that is in the lower court.
Because
That's
they're
what
not
we are talking
Waqf
about.
properties.
Nothing is,
Precisely
No,
the
they-
point. They're claimed as Waqf properties. You're not understanding the difference.
Listen to me.
Tariq
Each
ji,
and every
yehi
mosque,
difference hai.
most of the Sunni mosques, listen to me, I'm a Muslim. Most of the Sunni mosques has been registered, or the Idgah, or the Qabristan, have their Waqf number in Uttar Pradesh. That's why the property has become so large, because all the mosques are compulsory.
Precisely the problem. Precisely the problem. That literally everything that Waqf boards could identify has been called Waqf land, Shehzad Poonawalla, and you don't need to show any papers, you don't need to show any antecedents, you don't need to show exactly who gave this land to Waqf or donated it to the cause of Waqf, and somehow no matter who's living on it, no matter what is built on it, it is deemed as Waqf land. And we've seen Waqf boards come in and say in other litigations that, oh, you can't do this because we are also party to this. Of course, the courts have come down very hard on some of these cases. But Shehzad, answer the criticism that is coming in, that one, there are, some people maintain that there are checks and balances as far as the existing Waqf Act is concerned, which is why you see cases go to court. And secondly, this government has just come to power, and the first thing it wants to do is curtail Waqf board rights instead of doing anything else that may be more pressing in the country.
Well, first of all, the categorization that this is anti-Muslim is most away from the truth. In fact, it doesn't take anything away from the Muslim community. It is in fact going to give to the Muslim community. Yes, it is going to give to the poor Muslims. It is going to give to the Muslim women. It is going to give to the true beneficiaries of the Waqf properties. And therefore, those people who have been usurping Waqf lands because of their political connections, those are the only people who are against this move. What is this move? This move is pro-governance. It is pro-inclusivity. It is pro-women. It is pro-verification. It is pro-ensuring that there is a mechanism to monitor. It is pro-good governance. And it is anti-land grabbing. 9 lakh acres of property is there, with the Muslim community is the third largest owner of land. And then you get an income of less than 200 crores. And if this is anti-Muslim, Shivani, Oman, Syria, Libya, Pakistan, none of them have these kinds of laws for Waqf. So all of them are anti-Muslim as well. If this is anti-Muslim, why was it recommended by Sachar committee? Why was it recommended by the 9th JPC report, which was headed by K. Rahman Khan? Why was it recommended by people like Hasnain Ahmed, who was an IAS officer who wrote a paper on this? Why was it recommended by many of the people who came for the consultations between 2015 to 2023? So all of these are recommendations from the Muslim community, from the Aga Khanis, the Bohras, the Pasmandas, all of them. But having said that, let me make 2 or 3 points. First of all, you know what is actually constitutional anomaly? They say that we are with constitution. In 1990s, 2 laws were passed. 1991, first the place of worship act is passed. That means Shivani cannot go and claim her place of worship. She is forbidden from doing that. But 1995, an act is created where Tariq Khan can go and claim any property, including the building of CNN-IBN. All he has to do is say that this belongs to the Waqf, and then CNN-IBN has to go and prove that this actually is our property, this is not the Waqf property. And Madhya Pradesh High Court judge, Justice Ahluwalia, has come down heavily on this. Does he not believe Justice Ahluwalia also? Finally, I want to only say one thing, that look, this is the same narrative that we saw in CA. CA बहाना था, तब भी मुसलमान को भड़काना था. कितने लोगों की नागरिकता गई? आज जमीन छिन जाएगी, जमीन छिन जाएगी. I want to ask the question of Rashid Sharif ji. Show me one provision where Muslim जमीन छिन जाएगी that can be proven. And secondly, since you are saying that Waqfs were working in such a great way, Mr. Tariq Khan, tell me 10 institutions, 10 big hospitals that were running for poor people free of cost. Give the name to Shivani and shut me up. Today, when the benefit will go to the yatims, it will go to the poorest of the poor of the community. People like you are opposing because you all have a stake in making money out of these properties, not for it to be utilized for the poor Muslim.
Tariq,
tell me the provision that how it will be utilized for the poor people. What provision you
10
have
properties. I asked you for 10 properties where hospitals are running. Tell me 10 names of big hospitals free of cost treatment to Muslims.
Let me explain. I'm accepting
then
you.
Why are you opposing it?
I'm saying that you are doing for the betterment of the poor people. Tell me the clause in the act which will benefit and which will in future create hospitals, create charitable schools. You have any plans for that?
Okay.
For the work properties, you have any plan?
Yes.
And plan should be
according
to that act which is under procedure. Tell me that. I'll be happy to listen. I'll convey it to my party.
Okay, let him respond now. Limited time, let him respond. Kailash Adhikari hasn't come in. Yes, Shehzad.
Yes. First of all, you would be happy to go and read the entire act, but you would know that now the entire accounts of the Waqf have to be put in the central portal, which means how the Waqf land or Waqf property will be used is going to be in public domain. Secondly, if there is any kind of misdemeanor or any kind of misutilization, the person will be removed. Thirdly, you can not only go to the tribunal, you can go to the High Court. So if any excessive claims are made by the Waqf, that it says that this entire Tamil Nadu village is mine, then those claims can be challenged in the High Court. That power has been given, and that is being utilized against Muslims itself. It is being used against
That's even not my question.
It is being used against Aga Khanis. Fourthly, fourthly, computerization
That's not my simple question.
Is going to ensure complete transparency.
You're talking about
This is the answer to it. When there is transparency, the money will go to the place where it is supposed to go, and not to politicians like you. That is the problem.
It will be. Listen to brother, you are saying that it will be benefited to the poor Muslims. So how you will help with that money, with that land? Tell me that. That's what I want to know.
Transparency. Ensuring accountability, making sure the money is used where it is supposed to be used, and taking the land out of the hands of land grabbers. Is it not going to help the poor?
Okay, I'm going to come back to both of you. 1 second, I'm going to come back to both of you. I think it is not anybody's contention that we fully understand all of the changes. I think it's good if there's a parliamentary debate and a joint parliamentary committee looks into it. And we should look at it not from the prism of the fact that this is a religious body whose rights are being talked about here. It's a body that functions in India, has certain great powers, and those powers have to be put with some checks and balances. Kailash, I'm coming to you. We've all been witness, and we've highlighted these cases here on CNN News 18 of some of the bizarre claims of the Waqf board that have come to light. And now they keep coming to light over and over, regardless of the fact that there are in many cases poor people who are residing on those lands and are being either extorted allegedly or are being asked to move out. So the Tiruchendurai village in Tamil Nadu, you would remember this case. This is the first of its kind case in the last 2 to 3 years that came to light that really blew the lid off of what Waqf boards were up to. Acres and acres of land which nothing to do with Islam. You know, it's not even that you can claim that Islam was there on that land, 15 years ago or 14 years ago. There is no history of Islam. There is no history of Islamic rule. The land is dotted with temples, and yet Waqf came up and said, all these acres of villages belong to us. Now, this is precisely the problem. No, when you do your business like this, it's bound to attract scrutiny.
Absolutely. You know, Shivani, we all know one saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the exact case what has happened with the Waqf Board. At one point of time, when this entire thing was made or drafted, it was made in such a manner that, you know, absolute power was given. And then over a period of years, what happened? You know, that because of political reasons, it was used, the absolute power was, it made just absolute corruption in that manner. Now what the government is trying to do is absolutely right. As Shehzad Bhai said, bringing under the realms of transparency and accountability, making it women empowerment, stating the fact that proceeds from the Waqf Board will actually be used for, you know, women, divorcees, orphans, those who are actually in need. Thirdly, it will have inclusions of people from other community as well. And fourthly, for the fact that naturally it has to be used for the betterment of the people who are actually impoverished. Here, what has happened over a period of years, since there was no governance aspect under it.
No, that's what the aim of the Waqf is. The aim of the Waqf is that you help those in need. That's what it was meant to be, and possibly Waqf boards have not lived up to that promise. Otherwise, you wouldn't see the kind of condition we see of a lot of poor Muslims in India.
Absolutely, that is what I am saying. You know, those people who are running the board, they thought that it is their own property. You know, they tried to manage the board in such a manner as if it is their own inheritance. They forgot the basic fundamental principle that Waqf Board was actually set up for the purpose of, you know, preserving the lives as well as bringing up the community. But what they did was, in a selfish motive, brought themselves up. And here the government is trying to introduce certain amendments. There are about 44 amendments, if I'm telling correctly to the Waqf Board Act, which states that, you know, more women empowerment should be there. And on the fact of the matter is that the entire proceeds what they get, you know, should be used for the impoverished. And also the fact of women inheritance. Who is talking about it currently?
But, you know, Kailash, the fundamental point is this, and I'll bring Shehzad in on this as well. The fundamental point of the political divide is that when it was made earlier and these powers given to the Waqf Board, it was a political move to appease a certain minority in India. And now that it is being taken away or shaved off, it is also a political move. Recent general election results have possibly pushed the BJP to play this whole Hindu-Muslim card again. What do you think about that?
No, I don't, think that way. The opposition is just trying to make a plank that it is completely political, and this is what the Bharatiya Janata Party in power is trying to do. That is not the aim. You know, the government has been very clear, and the Minister for Minority Affairs, as far as the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Mr. Kiran Rijiju, has openly said in the Parliament that these were the works that the earlier government should have done. They have not done under the realm of appeasement.
Okay. Shehzad, if you claim that the Congress did what it did to appease a certain section, why does that charge not come back to you, that you are doing what you're doing today to appease another section as well?
Simply because this is going to benefit the Muslims themselves, and it is being done at the insistence of the Muslims themselves. Aga Khanis, Bohras and other sects of Islam who don't get representation have actually advocated for it. And secondly, did we not pass the Triple Talaq law when we had 300 plus seats? Did we not push for UCC when we had 300 plus seats? The question is not about the seats or the number, it is about niyat. Our niyat is that nobody should have extra constitutional arrangement. That extra constitutional arrangement, is it there for Shivani Gupta? Does Shivani Gupta have a body which can go and claim whichever property it likes, and then it can say that now you prove this is not your property? Shivani Gupta does not even have the right to go and claim some of her places of worship. But Tariq must have the right that if he likes Shivani's house, he will tomorrow say, "Arey, ye to waqf ka property hai bhai." Then Shivani has to go to a tribunal to prove to them that, look, this is my house, this is not Tariq's waqf property. What kind of country are we going to stay in if this kind of anomalous situation is allowed?
Okay.
You are claiming a village which is 1500 years old with a 1500-year-old temple. Islam was revealed 1400 years ago. You are claiming that property under Waqf. I mean, there has to be some semblance. They claim Taj Mahal. They said Taj Mahal hamara hai. Court asked them, Shah Jahan ka signed document dikhao. So Tariq and his gang had to leave the courts. This is the kind of ridiculous claims they make, and therefore it is incumbent that everyone stay within the domains and the periphery of the constitution.
Okay.
Land jihad ka adhikar kisi ko nahi milega.
All right. We'll of course continue to look into this issue. For now, this is being debated in Parliament as well, and we'll see exactly what consensus can be built on this and who stands on what side. I do thank all of our guests for joining us.